My name's Nigel Keem. I've been on projects of Surface for going on 5 years now, so I'm one of the first people to have joined after the initial prototype was built. So speaking of which, this is the initial prototype, one of 3 that were built. It's called the T1. It was named that after the fact, obviously. Built from an old Ikea table. The initial concept came from Andy Wilson and Stevie Fatish from Microsoft Research and Hardware, respectively, and they were just looking at new ways to interact with computers. Obviously, there's been quite a bit of work done in the touch sensing space over the years by research, but they just kind of had a vision as to kind of how to bring this all together into a single product. So they built this prototype, and if you come around here, you can see kind of essentially.
This is an Ikea table.
This literally was an Ikea table. Someone took to it with a saw and put a screen on it and put a whole lot of stuff on the inside and kind of boxed it up. So the way this worked was, you got a projector, it bounces down, hits that first surface mirror, the flat one on the bottom, comes straight up to the top, and there's a little camera here which also looks via the mirror, and an infrared light source, and that was it. So we had the computer on the inside, and really it was a remarkably complete system. They put everything in there that you'd need to make an end-to-end running system, and had demonstrations, some of which are in some ways beyond aspects that we even have today. Not productized, but it was a perfect start. So that was all going, and most of us that joined in 2003, we saw this, dropped whatever project we were on, and ran over here. So it was quite something. That wasn't really kind of ready for mass production. One of the kind of my favorite bugaboos about it was that it had the computer on the inside, had venting, had fans, and it had a mirror flat on the bottom. So the net result was kind of obvious. Dust accumulated on the mirror and would get blown around by the fans. So our vision system, which is a camera, would actually show that. You could put it up and you could see dust bunnies rolling across the screen continuously. It wasn't quite ready. So this was the kind of the answer to that. This was the one, as I say, we made 3 of those. We made over 100 of this model. This is the T2. And similar in some ways. So you've got the same concept here of a mirror, but this is a kind of completely sealed unit. The camera was on the back, and the projector, in order to get the box height smaller, the projector was mounted on the back, and there's an extra little mirror on the back. So the projector comes up, bounces off a small mirror, goes down, goes off the big mirror, and goes up to the top. So there's a projector under there and a small mirror that's canted like that. And there's actually kind of a glass window with anti-reflective coating on it, so that the entire light box was sealed. There's no dust problems and no airflow in it, and the computer was just mounted underneath. So that one, as I say, we built well over 100 of those, and that was our kind of like workhorse for probably, nearly, I guess, 2.5 years. Everyone had one of these in their office and grew to love them or hate them or what have you.
Were they loud?
Well, the only thing here was the computer itself, and the fan of the projector.
Because the projector bulb life is, you have a bulb life that doesn't last forever.
Absolutely. One of the things that we would do is every week we'd get around and do things like play games. Ones that just we'd take a regular board game and put it on there, and whoever arrived last would sit on that side because they had the hot air from the projector blowing at them. It was quite uncomfortable. But it was just perfect, desk height for development work on.
Is that this is just like electrical tape?
Yeah, it's electrical tape holding down this is a piece of vellum, pretty much the same as what was on the T1. Not very rugged, and the way that the illumination, the infrared, worked on this model, we went back and forth. At one stage, we had infrared lights all the way along, kind of coming in the side, and then kept it underneath. That went through a few iterations. It was quite a difficult part of the whole process.
Now, was this developed with the consumer in mind, or with retailer? Were you guys just
we
in the
were
brain?
basically developing a concept, and then it was up to the business team to find what makes sense.
Okay.
So long term, obviously, we expect it to go into consumer, but it made sense to start with commercial, mostly because application development. It's just the right way to kind of bring the category to life. So while everyone was using this and working on software and vision systems and what have you, one of the other things we had to investigate was what's the right shape and what's the right size. So we tried everything. I'll go through them in the basic orders. That is actually one of these. It's just got the bottom empty part of the computer gone.
This looks like something you'd find in like a doctor's office that caters to kids.
Yeah, exactly.
It looks kid-friendly.
This one was aimed towards something where kids could kneel around it and play on it on the floor. It was called the Dazzle model because we wanted to actually kind of show partners that we could have something that looked good.
Yeah.
It also got the nickname of the bathtub.
The bathtub.
But yeah, it's fun. It was quite a feat actually to squeeze that model into this shape. It was again not quite ready for prime time, but it really did show that we could go smaller if we wanted to. On the other end of the spectrum, this is a model that this actually one I put together just to see what it would be like to have no mirrors in the path. So you can see I've left the side off here. There's a projector going straight up, goes straight, just direct throw, short, projector onto the screen, and there's like a single camera at the bottom.
So where's the CPU?
So there's a gap here, and that's designed to take my laptop.
Oh,
so,
okay.
So you can literally put a laptop in there, and it's got woofer, tweeters, everything else that you can imagine.
And so were you running Windows XP at the time?
Yes, this one only ever ran Windows XP.
Okay.
The only idea there was that you could kind of belly up to the bar,
Yeah.
and it's
Well,
little on the high side, but not perfectly fine for a standing model for most people.
What's about what you go into Applebee's, that's the size.
Yeah, it's about 42, 43 inches. Those are about 30 inches. At the same time, kind of on the more productizing side, this is the first of the models that was kind of aimed towards, let's make something we can actually ship as opposed to kind of getting the system built. So this model is an EV2. We're up to, the last EV is EV4, so it's relatively current. You can see that and the final one are pretty much the same thing.
Pretty close, yeah.
Multiple cameras on the inside as opposed to one. That way we get better resolution at shorter depths, and it's got everything's all correct from a radiated electrical noise and heat and power consumption and internationalized power supplies, and everything else is kind of all ready to roll. About the last thing that was changed there that of significance obviously is the actual tabletop itself. This is like a full screen diffuser over the whole thing. It's a single sheet. It was quite an exercise to get the smaller diffuser so that people could safely use drinks and things on an edge without a major problem.
And what is that Surface One over there? Is that your next model?
I was like, no. That's the tactile model.
That's the tactile model. Yeah.
So.